It's really interesting. A lot of them are just not looking at him at all, even though he's standing and talking. That's really interesting.
I run into people and I still find myself getting starstruck and fanboying out all the time because it's just incredible.
Oh my God. And most people's violence with her, it's just baking.
As a matter of fact, it was because there was the strike, and so even it could have seemed like I was promoting the film.
Concert with when internet was dial-up, so he would take about 100,000 photos, and then at night he would...
Robert Downey Jr. has never been the type to speak unless he's certain every syllable will land like a precision-guided missile. That habit once saved his career, and, if you believe the growing chorus, it could soon obliterate someone else's. Industry insiders swear the man who built Tony Stark into a pop culture deity is clutching receipts that lay bare a hidden game of power, manipulation, and million-dollar grudges surrounding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, this is his thing. He's a Taylor Swift of the movie industry. When he gets upset with somebody, he puts them into a script.
He hasn't leaked a single screenshot, but the mere rumor has studios holding emergency calls at midnight, brand managers rewriting ad copy, and fans forcing themselves to ask whether Hollywood's most beloved couple is genuine or just the slickest marketing campaign ever staged. For more than a decade, Blake and Ryan danced above the Hollywood fray, charming hosts of their own perpetual rom-com. They made parenthood look effortless, bantered on social media like two stand-up comics in love, and always seemed to appear together just when the world needed a dose of lighthearted cuteness. But perfection is brittle. The first fractures appeared when a lawsuit turned their image from couple goals into courtroom headline. Now whispers of blockbusters used as personal revenge, canceled sponsorship deals, and a possible document dump from Robert Downey Jr. threaten to turn those fractures into a chasm. If the leaks are real, the next round of headlines won't revolve around box office numbers. They'll be about careers on the brink, friendships on ice, and the strange smell of smoke inside Marvel's once airtight headquarters. Long before lawsuits and rumor mills, the legend of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds was built on laughter. It wasn't just that they joked around, it was how they did it.
Oh my God. And most people's violence with her, it's just baking.
Their birthday posts read like comedy club roasts, each sly jab softened by the promise of inside jokes we'd never fully understand. Paparazzi shots always caught them mid-giggle, never mid-argument. Even their rare missteps felt choreographed to signal relatability rather than raw humanity. And the world ate it up. Blake's meticulously curated lifestyle posts made luxury seem achievable, somehow bridging the gap between front-row couture and a cozy Sunday bake-off. Ryan parlayed his quick wit into business ventures that looked like punchlines until the profits rolled in. A budget-friendly phone carrier that grew faster than most tech startups, a gin label quietly shipping pallets across 5 continents, and a Wrexham Football Club docu-series that turned non-sports fans into Welsh soccer aficionados overnight. Marketing textbooks might start using them as a case study on brand symbiosis, 2 separate celebrities whose combined gravitational pull multiplies everything they touch. Yet, amid the laughs, industry veterans whispered that every interview answer felt perfected on the rehearsal stage, every candid snapshot preceded by a friendly tip-off to a photographer. Publicists insisted it was all authentic. Skeptics saw it as the ultimate illusion, a Truman Show built for Instagram. Beneath the meme-friendly banter lay a nagging question. What happens when a brand designed for perfection meets a controversy it can't deflect with a joke? The cracks widened on New Year's Eve 2024. While most of Hollywood popped champagne, headlines popped something else. Blake Lively had filed a blistering complaint accusing director-turned-co-star Justin Baldoni of harassment and retaliation during pre-production on It Ends With Us, the film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's chart-topping novel. Fans rushed to Blake's defense. She'd never been tied to scandal, and Baldoni, though respected, lacked her bulletproof public image. But 16 days later, the script flipped. Baldoni counterpunched with a lawsuit demanding an astronomical $400 million in damages, accusing Blake, and by extension Ryan and their powerhouse publicist Leslie Sloan, of orchestrating a calculated smear designed to push him out of the director's chair, seize creative control, and pivot the narrative in the couple's favor. Hollywood gasped.
Because there are some people who feel like he is the one who's driving all of this and telling Blake. I don't think that seems very unfair to Blake Lively.
That's pretty diabolical.
$400 million isn't a lawsuit, it's an extinction-level meteor. The legal shockwaves didn't stop there. Early that summer, a judge tossed Baldoni's countersuit on procedural grounds but kept Blake's original claim alive for trial in March 2026, ensuring both sides would endure months, maybe years, of discovery, depositions, and publicly filed revelations. Then came the fuse-lighting twist. Baldoni's attorneys successfully petitioned the court for access to Blake's private text exchanges with Taylor Swift.
The Justin Baldoni war with Blake Lively, which seems to me, initially I felt quite sorry for Blake Lively, then I've been reading all the messages, and it just seems like a pair of absolute weapons-grade narcissists.
The ruling didn't make the messages public yet, but the optics were devastating. What had seemed a straightforward harassment allegation now dripped with the possibility of strategic gossip, crisis PR rehearsals, and celebrity alliances woven behind closed doors. Suddenly, fans who had been confidently numbered Team Blake confronted a far naughtier reality. Was their favorite starlet a whistleblower or a chess master? And if she was playing chess, how many pieces was Ryan moving too? As the courtroom drama took its first breath, an unrelated but somehow eerily connected spectacle burst onto the stage. Deadpool and Wolverine wrapped principal photography in late 2024, promising a July 2025 release and fueling the internet's endless appetite for leaks. The teaser alone cracked 30 million views in a weekend, thanks partly to Ryan's effortless social media hype machine. But buried beneath the excitement came rumors that certain Deadpool one-liners weren't aimed at the evil empire or Wolverine's adamantium claws, they were aimed at Justin Baldoni. Conspiracy or confession?
We had a really weird moment on Deadpool where he said, let's do one more take. And everyone was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me.
In one alleged scene, Deadpool spars verbally with an off-screen Director Nicepool, a character who loves motivational podcasts and says things like, "Film is empathy." Fans who follow Baldoni's social feeds recognized the digs instantly. Blog posts speculated that a blockbuster flick costing upward of $200 million might double as a cinematic revenge note, signed with Ryan's trademark quip and sealed by Blake's lingering frustration. In Hollywood, there are stars, and then there's Robert Downey Jr., the rare actor whose resurrection narrative rivals any fiction. He once crawled from the ashes of addiction to anchor the most lucrative film franchise in history, earning a seat in the pantheon of bankable legends. He carries weight not just as a performer, but as the unofficial moral compass for an entire generation of Marvel alumni. So when podcasts started claiming Downey holds scandal-shifting receipts, documented proof of behind-the-scenes manipulation, blackballing conversations, maybe even hush money negotiations, people listened. Supposedly, Ryan looped RDJ into a group thread during a fundraising push, inadvertently exposing internal griping about Baldoni's emotional theatrics and touting strategies to keep him at bay without leaving fingerprints. Another rumor suggests Downey confronted a Marvel vice president, warning that if the studio let Deadpool and Wolverine evolve into a petty roast, it could erode the trust fans place in the Marvel brand. Desperate to retake the narrative, Blake and Ryan booked a much-anticipated dual cameo on Saturday Night Live in February 2025. Historically, SNL was their comfort zone, a place to lampoon themselves and walk out trending. But that night, something felt off from the first punchline. The couple's trademark sparkle looked dimmed, the easy timing replaced by the kind of forced back and forth you see during tense family dinners. When Ryan cracked a joke about lawsuits longer than Deadpool's contract rider, the audience coughed instead of laughed. Commentators pounced within minutes, accusing the pair of downplaying very real harassment claims. Social feeds once filled with adoring reaction gifs shifted into side-eye memes of Blake nervously tugging her sleeve or Ryan smiling too wide for comfort. The hashtag number #ReadTheRoom trended. By sunrise, an unnamed luxury watch brand quietly swapped Blake's image in its spring lookbook for Emma Stone. A high-end cosmetics line postponed its influencer preview boxes indefinitely. Hollywood rarely telegraphs its loss of confidence, but those subtle moves spoke volumes. And just like that, the unshakable brand developed a wobble. Suddenly, the laugh-it-off strategy looked dangerously tone-deaf, and the public's appetite for snarky banter had curdled into suspicion. In Tinseltown, good press converts to hard currency faster than any foreign exchange. But bad press? That bleeds budgets dry. Blake and Ryan's combined representation staff reportedly fielded frantic calls from studio chiefs asking for damage assessment forecasts, should the controversy escalate. One blockbuster romantic comedy featuring Blake, set in Spain and greenlit mere weeks before the lawsuit, was quietly pushed to development limbo, its financing contingent on reputational clarity. Meanwhile, two advertisers who had negotiated cross-promotional campaigns linked to Deadpool and Wolverine requested new contracts that allow them to pull out if material negative publicity persists. Marvel's marketing department pre-cut two global trailers, one leaning heavily on Ryan's irreverent charm, another centering on Hugh Jackman, while trimming Ryan's screen time by a full 30 seconds. Executives hope never to use the fallback, but they won't risk $1 billion slate on blind optimism. Similar contingency tactics rolled out at streaming platforms considering Ryan for a limited series thriller. Networks that once raced each other for his availability suddenly found reasons to circle back next quarter. Even the couple's real estate holdings became part of the story. Entertainment reporters dug up property records, showing a quiet attempt to sell their upstate New York retreat, fueling theories they're prepping a liquidity cushion should sponsorship streams freeze. Whether coincidence or foresight, every transaction now reads like strategy, and fans, once happy to scroll past lighthearted jokes, have switched to detective mode. Future A, Robert Downey Jr. releases the receipts. If they verify manipulation, fabricated claims, or targeted sabotage, Blake's lawsuit implodes. Baldoni revives the $400 million countersuit. Studios pivot to crisis PR, and every brand with a contract clause citing morals violations triggers immediate exit. Blake's next gig becomes an uphill climb through indie film purgatory, while Ryan fights to keep Deadpool and Wolverine from being sucked into a boycott narrative. Future B, the evidence exists, but never sees daylight. Court leaks trickle out, feeding drip-feed negativity that erodes fan loyalty without ever offering closure. Blake and Ryan remain employable, yet radioactive destined for projects where their star power offsets risk but never reaches pre-scandal heights. Opinions calcify into ambiguous stalemate. Some people believe them, others don't, and studios ignore them until they need a name that still trends worldwide. Future C, an 11th-hour settlement resolves both lawsuits behind closed doors. NDA-sealed apologies sprinkle the press. Blake pivots to a prestige television drama about healing and empowerment. Ryan launches a charity initiative for workplace safety, and the couple goes under the radar for 18 quiet months. When they re-emerge, complete with a primetime interview and a glossy magazine profile, they present themselves as victims of legal misunderstanding, and the story gradually blurs into Hollywood folklore. The public forgives, though full trust may never return. Whichever scenario prevails, one truth endures. The perfect celebrity brand survives only if the audience chooses to keep believing. After a decade of wholehearted belief, the crowd now waits, arms crossed, demanding proof.